Have you ever seen a place that looks like it was pulled straight out of a storybook? Well, deep in the Scottish Highlands, where these incredible mountains crash into the sea, there's a castle that's exactly that. But this is no ordinary castle. This is Inveraray, and believe me, its story is every bit as dramatic and beautiful as its setting.
Just picture it, right on the shores of Loch Fyne, Scotland's longest sea loch. Inveraray Castle just rises up. You've got these iconic conical towers and strong battlements, all set against the wild, rugged beauty of the Highlands. It's a place that feels, both completely magical and like it's been there forever.
But of course, behind those fairy tale walls, there's a much deeper story. We're talking ambitious dukes, a catastrophic fire that nearly erased it all, and some pretty fascinating royal secrets. So where do we even begin? Let's start at the very beginning.
Okay, first thing you need to know, for hundreds of years, Inveraray has been the home base for the Dukes of Argyll. They are the chiefs of Clan Campbell, and this wasn't just any clan. We're talking about one of the most powerful and important families in the entire history of Scotland. This place is their heartland.
And get this, think about the sheer scale of this castle's influence. It's not just some local landmark. For an estimated 14 million people around the globe who have Campbell roots, Inveraray is the ancestral home. It's a powerful, living symbol of their history. That's pretty incredible.
But here's a twist. The castle we see today isn't the original medieval fortress that stood here for ages. Nope. What you're looking at is the result of a massive, ambitious project in the 18th century. The goal? To create a true ducal palace. It wasn't about defense anymore. This was a statement of power, a showcase of wealth and modern taste.
And a project this grand takes time. In fact, it was a family affair that spanned nearly 50 years and 3 whole generations. It kicked off with the second Duke, who hired a superstar architect of the day, Sir John Vanbrugh. Then, the third Duke laid the actual foundation stone in 1746. And finally, it was the fifth Duke who saw it through, and get this, he even moved the entire town of Inveraray, just to make sure his new palace had the perfect, unspoiled view.
So the second you walk through the doors of Inveraray, you're hit with its jaw-dropping centerpiece, the Armory Hall. This room was designed purely to blow you away, and it totally does, thanks to its most famous feature, the highest freestanding ceiling in all of Scotland.
The scale in here is just immense. That ceiling soars 21 meters, that's nearly 70 feet, right above your head. And the walls themselves tell stories of battle and power. They're covered in these amazing, intricate patterns made from over 1,300 weapons, including muskets that were actually used at the Battle of Culloden. This isn't just wallpaper, it's history made into art. But imagine all of this, all this history, this power, this grandeur, almost completely lost in one single terrible night. On a fateful evening in 1975, this priceless legacy was very nearly wiped off the face of the earth. And this quote, wow, it just sends a chill down your spine. It's from the current Duke, Torquil Campbell, who was only 7 years old when it happened. He was at the town's Guy Fawkes bonfire on November 5th, and he remembers how the castle itself suddenly became this horrifying, blazing spectacle.
It all started from a simple electrical fault, but as the fire raged through the top floor, something incredible happened. The people of Inveraray didn't just stand and watch. They formed a human chain, running into the burning castle to save its priceless treasures. For years after, the family lived in the basement while the recovery began. But that resilience paid off. 5 years later, after so much hard work, Inveraray opened its doors to the public once again.
The restoration was just a monumental undertaking, and it all comes back to that amazing community spirit. It started with that heroic rescue. Then, they put on an innovative steel roof to make the building safe. Local artisans were sent to London to learn the specialized techniques to restore the 18th century interiors. And to help pay for it all, they launched this brilliant worldwide campaign where you could buy a slate for the new roof. You could literally become part of the castle's rebirth.
Now, as if the story isn't dramatic enough, there's also a major royal connection. Long before the fire, Inveraray became a beloved Scottish home for one of Britain's most famous royal families.
And that connection came through this woman, Princess Louise, Queen Victoria's 6th child. She was famously independent, a super talented artist and sculptor, and her marriage to the heir of Inveraray in 1871 created a direct link between the heart of Clan Campbell and the British crown.
And you can actually see the proof of this royal marriage carved right into the castle itself. It's a fantastic detail. If you go into the private library and look up at the ceiling decorations, you'll see it. Side by side, you have the Duke's coronet with its traditional strawberry leaves, and the royal coronet with its unmistakable fleur-de-lis and crosses. It's a permanent symbol of this powerful union.
This touch of glamour is definitely still alive and well. The castle's stunning looks have made it a star in its own right. I mean, you've probably seen it without even realizing it. It was a key location for the Downton Abbey Christmas special and the BBC drama A Very British Scandal, among many others.
So this all begs the question, how on earth does a place like this survive in the 21st century? Well, it's a constant, delicate balancing act. You're trying to preserve this incredible history while also dealing with the realities of the modern world.
And the answer is that Inveraray has become a seriously dynamic modern business. It's the hub of a huge 60,000-acre estate, and it makes money from a whole range of things. Tourism, sure, but also commercial forestry, farming, and even green energy from wind and hydropower. It's all about diversifying.
And that amazing community spirit that saved the castle, it's still a huge part of its identity. They now have an Adopt a Document program where anyone can help fund the careful conservation of these priceless historical papers, many of which were actually damaged by smoke and water during that fire in 1975.
And finally, you really can't understand the castle without understanding its unique relationship with the town of Inveraray. Because, well, one was literally built for the other.
Remember the 5th Duke, the one who finished the castle? Back in the 1770s, he moved the entire village to create Scotland's very first planned town. And today, it's just gorgeous. You've got this pristine Georgian architecture, the fascinating old jail, a bell tower with this incredible ring of bells. It all creates the perfect, scenic lead-up to the castle, exactly as he planned it.
Which really brings us to the ultimate question, right? When you are the caretaker of a place with 800 years of family history, a place that's been built, then burned to the ground, and then reborn, how do you make sure that legacy survives for another generation?
And the answer, I think, lies in that perfect balance of honoring the past while embracing the future. By being a family home and a business, a tourist spot, and a sustainable estate, Inveraray Castle proves it isn't just a monument frozen in time, it's a living, breathing home, a powerful story of resilience, and a story that is very much still being written.